Hey, Yishleimar, as the husband in der Machlekes zwischen Babel and Yerushalmi is verbunden mit der Chilik, dem Efen Halimit zwischen the Machlekes, the dispute between the Babel and the Yerushalmi is connected also with the difference of how the style of Babel and Yerushalmi. The Efen Halimit in Talmud Babel is mit Aribe Shakel V'Tayir V'Chudi. Und wie die Gemara sagt, B'Machshakim HaShivani. The way that Babli learns, there's a lot of questions, there's a lot of answers, there's a lot of proof. As like it says in Tilim, or in Echem, with the darkness, he answered me. Zeh Talmud Yishal Babli. This is the Gemara says. This is Talmud. This is Chazal learn. This is Talmud Babli, because Talmud Babli is it's not a straightforward learning. It's a lot of questions, a lot of answers. Till you're going to get to the answer, there's a lot of different layers. The Limud is al derech v'einer zucht in der Finster. Da wie Bechipus, wie Gier, Fragen Kushis und von anderen Kleiben. Bis wir kommen zum Emes und Pshat und Maskan. Like the Rebbe says that the Talmud Babli it's like going in the dark, and you have to collect and you have to gather data, and until you get to the Maskana, there's a lot of levels. Aber in Talmud Yerushalmi is the limit in an Eifen Yasher. Wir gefinden gleich die richtige Svara und Tiritz und Chuli. Einer was Zeta Zach in der Lichtigkeit. However, what's Yerushalmi? Yerushalmi is, you see the right logics and the right answers, like somebody who has light. Und die Rebbe darf auskommen, als later Shita, Eifen an Limit von Babli, kann durch ein Limit Muet von Chassidim Rishenim aufgetan werden nur so therefore it comes out that the way and the limit of the Babli, learning a little bit, like Chassidim or Rishenim, could accomplish only Terasam Mishtamers, that whatever you have, you preserve. It's basically like an example, either you're preserving your money or you're making more money. So Babli is Terasam Mishtamers, you're preserving what you have. It's all nicht vergessen die Divrei Torah was man lernt. So you're not forgetting what you learn. Aber nicht as es soll noch sein an Eifen von Bracha nitna b'tirasa, but you're not getting the level of that the bracha is given in your Torah. Which means lahavin ulahaskel miyad. Right when you look at something, you understand it right away. That's doesn't coincide with the way Bavli is set up. Aber like der Shita on Eifen halimud from Yerushalmi. Tut uf zer limud eiftein from bracha nitenes b'teidasen. Itzlichu lahavin lahaskel miyad v'lehoyishayin. V'essen zum derech halimud in an Eifen Yasher. Ad mekum bal zu zum inyan vi eres lamitase. However, Yerushalmi is that you have this idea of bracha nitenes b'teidasen, that you have a atzlacha to understand right away, and you don't have to wait, you don't have to delay to figure out pshat. That coincides with the way that Yerushalmi is set up, that everything is very straight, and you can get to the emes right away. Zog der Rebbe involved al pize Yishleimar as the chilik zwischen Hanogas Mordichai Shiratzu l'shita surev Sanhedrin, and the shita from mixes as Sanhedrin is tali in their pluksa now zwischen Babli and Yerushalmi. Now we can understand this, that Mordichai, it says Viratzu l'reiv echov, that some of the Sanhedrin separated from him, is tali in the machlekes Babli Yerushalmi. The Sanhedrin Gedela was mahad geklibin from the Sanhedrin Katana was mekayim b'Yerushalayim al kapana b'Eretz HaKedesh. So Mistaber zu sagen, als limud al kapana von Ruben is given with the Seder limud HaYerushalmi. So who were the Sanhedrin? Sanhedrin Gedela, they were collected and assembled from the Sanhedrin Katana, which their place was in Yerushalayim, in Eretz HaKedesh. So if they're in Israel, the way they learned obviously was the Israeli style, which is like the Yerushalmi. Aber euch dann seine gewähnt, Tanoim von Bavel, oder wie später, Hillel Olam mi Bavel, Reb Nosson ha-Bavli v'eit. But you also had Tanoim that were in Bavel. For example, it says about Hillel that he went from Bavel, and then Reb Nosson ha-Bavli v'eit, Befatas is schon durchgegangen mehr wie 70 Jahre von dem Zman, wenn Chodesh v'Masger zayin avek Yerushalayim im Agela asher haglasim yichani leBavel. 70 years already that people left Eretz Yisrael, the Bavel. And Anshe Knesset Agela zayin given Mishavi Agela asher hagla Nebuchadnezzar melech Bavel Yeshuv Yerushalayim v'Yehuda. Shnas Achas the Kedesh 52 years zayin ze given beBavel. Aber ich von Chodesh v'Masger was nach Yerushalayim zayin ze shein given Malasam Zu in the Eifin Alimut. So you also had people that were in Babel that came from Yerushalayim, that came from that were in Babel for 50 years, etc. So you had a group of people that were also in Babel. Und die about Mordichai, but Rebbe Sanhedrin gehalten as muss werden am Mishnah Melech to Batzalos Nefashis. So the majority of Sanhedrin felt that of course he should be a Mishnah Melech to save the Yidden. We kennen the Noch bleiben in Sanhedrin Magic Nesagdela. So how could he stay in Sanhedrin if their limud hatera is, if their idea is, if they personified limud hatera is what? Is bracha nitenes b'tirasan. So since they were chassidim, they had a bracha with their teda. So Mordechai is going to have Hatzlacha not only in a way that his Torah is preserved, whatever he learns, he'll understand right away. So his Baruch werden and steigen and learning, mehr wie Leute im Zman, was bleibt im Evlim Torah. So he's going to be able to accomplish learning and get to the point. Because he has this bracha, like the Yerushalmi says, bracha nitenes b'tirasan. Es haben sich aber gefunden zwischen die Chavres Sanhedrin Oicha Mixus Azelcha. Was even Alimud is given b'dem im derech Alimud from Talmud Bavli Canal, but you had some Chavres Sanhedrin which had a Bavli approach. What the Rebbe is by Zeh given they're even from Blaze Tirasan Mishtamer. So they had the mindset of only Tirasan Mishtamer. Was durch abgeben sich mit jene Askanes was aus Nefashis, was fallen in a Safa b'dias Atera, was fordert sich von Chevre Sanhedrin. Und der Fahrer Pirshimeno Mikza Sanhedrin, bei sie hat nicht gekannt sein, der Eifen HaAveda von Mordechai Rebbe Sanhedrin, und sie haben sich von ihm abgesundet in sehr engenem derech Kanal in Anheb Sif Dalet. So, what I was explaining is very beautifully that when we say V'ratzul Rev Echov, it's not like the reason why some of the Sanhedrin separated themselves from him is because they grew up in Bavli, they had the Babylonian approach that through learning Torah, and while you're involved in Askanis, you're only going to have the bracha of Torah Mishtameres. You're not going to learn Torah, you're not going to gain more parts of Torah. Just whatever you know, you'll be able to preserve. And therefore, they felt that as a Sanhedrin, you have to be Kol Kulei Teda. In the Yerushalmi, which that's where most of the Sanhedrin were, they knew that Teda is not only Teras Mishtameres, but it's also a bracha, that the little time that you sit, you could gain what takes a guy in Kolel 10 hours involved in Askanis, you can get it in an hour of learning. So that's why most of the Sanhedrin agreed with Mordichai, because they were all from Yerushalayim. Zayit, Agamas like their shita from Yerushalmi is bracha nitenes b'tirasan. When did he brought Mordichai gehat oich di bracha v'inyan von eisaf in dias hateda. Now, even though according to the opinion of the Yerushalmi, the bracha is nitenes b'tirasan, and therefore Mordichai had a bracha in addition to his knowledge of Teda. And deswegen, nevertheless, Yored Machashivase Eitzel Chachamim. Nevertheless, the Chachamim they demoted him from his chshivas. Why? To libdem was batul medivrei Teda of nichas l'shara, because he was mevatel Teda and he went to the government. Room is farana mailim yichedes in them derech. Because there's a certain mila of somebody who's kol Teda. You don't stop learning Teda for anything. Even if one is Sichah to having the bracha giving to his Torah. And this is Kavanas Chazal, Gedel Talmud Torah, Yesim Atzos Nefashis. And this is the Kavanah. The Chazal say that Talmud Torah is greater than Atzos Nefashis. It says, Godless, and in Upgeben in Ganzen Echlim Torah. There's a certain greatness to somebody who's called Kulitera. Vibalas Ben Mordichai is the Galus Nismait Gevorn, and since Ben Mordichai, his greatness was diminished, is Eich Gevorn Amiyat Yudida in Zayn Chashivas Eitzel Chacham. Statt zu der Mann Vern, der Mont Vern, Basar Dalad is a der Mont Gevorn Basar Chavishas. So instead of being number 40, he was only number 5. Now, even though, yes, he was demoted from level 4 to 5, but he was still considered, they still held, he has to be a Mishnah Melech. Valafilu, is durch dem soll bei ihm fällen, die Gadlus von Godel Talmud Torah, es gedeiht zu dem Inyan von Hatzos Nefashis, so sein Adedish Teil Nahame, they were shown the Chol Zarei. Nevertheless, they felt, and because what Mordichai is doing, he's saving Klal Yisrael, and he's seeking the well-being of Shalom the Chol Zarei, they felt that he not only has every right to, but he should be Mevatel Talmud Torah for Hatzos Nefashis. Ches, is aber fortnit glatik. The Rebbe says even with this, it's still not 100% smooth. Emes Taka, as Machmas Dem, was brochen tennis beterasei. But by Mordechai nit gefelt a feeling there is Safa b'diyasater. Yes, you're right. That through Mordechai's learning, it wasn't lacking in the Hisafa b'diyasater. When Emes Taka is da Mailin Atzalos Nefashis, or sleep them is Kedai the Yerida. Yes, and you're right. That there's a Mailin Atzalos Nefashis, and that's why it's Kedai the Yerida as a nit Zayin Terasa B'Nasi, that he's not going to be at the level of Terasa B'Nasi. Or via Zay, as is fart Eich the Nach, Gevluven Einer for the Sanhedrin. So, but still, how is it possible that he still remained part of the Sanhedrin? As l'chayr, calling on him is nar limud atera and Eirah. Their entire being is all here. This is like the Sichah we learned last week, with the Rashbi and Rebbeisi, that we asked, like the Rashbi was part of the Chevraya. The Rebbeisi was part of the Rashbi's Chevraya. So how could it be that Rebbeisi was thinking about other things, not on limud atera, because the Chevraya's whole idea was all limud atera. So the same thing over here. If the whole Sanhedrin is all Terasa Menaseh, so how is it possible that he's still part of the Sanhedrin? Another way to look at it, wie Shayach as if Sanhedrin Gufa was Konyanim is Tere Kanal soll sein Achiv zum Avatar sein if the Terasa Menaseh to leave Hatzos Nefashis. If a person is part of the Sanhedrin, what Sanhedrin is called Kuli Teda, Hat Terasam Umanasam Tera is their craftsman, Tera is their work. So how is that possible to be Mavatar that because of Hatzos Nefashis? So is there beer in the
Order 27 that Mordichai, after the Purim, was still involved in the mission Lamelech, because the Hashvedish is still a Russia,
right,
and he had to be on guard even
the entire time.
You go back to the beginning. Very good.
Right, yeah. Shkoyach, good order. Is there beer in them? Steht in Tanna de Belio, it says in Tanna de Belio, Hayalahem Sanhedrin Gdela, Leidach, Velikshir, Chavalim, Shabarzel, B'Masneim, Ulagbia, Bigdeim, Lamaila, Markubisein, Biachzul, B'chol, Ayolas Yisrael, Vilamdas Yisrael. It says that the Sanhedrin Gdela, they should go to tie like chains of iron chains on like their hips, and to lift up their garments higher than their knees, and go to all the cities and teach the Yidden. What does this mean? The din is, as when Sanhedrin hat Gele given mim keme belishkas hagazes, can sie nit dan sein din nefashis. When Sanhedrin were exiled from their place of lishkas hagazes, so the halacha is, the Gemara says, they cannot judge any halachas of din nefashis. Any capital punishment they can't judge. Says this means as durch them, as v'yachzeru b'chol Yoris Yisrael, Vert Ayirida in the Mkeach v'Tekef Sanhedrin, which means that through them going and traveling around in all the cities of where the Yidden are, so that's Yerida. There's a Yerida in the Keach of the Tekef Sanhedrin. For that's vegan is Hayalahem Achiv. As you saw, nevertheless, they had this obligation to go and actually go around to Klal Yisrael to teach them Torah. But then came first thing. So what do you see from here? As the Iker Tafka from the Sanhedrin is, what's the main Tafka of the Sanhedrin? Is Hayra Rabim. Is giving Hayra for the majority. And durch them, Atzos Lefashis, to sleep them, darf sein, jeder sein from their Keach v'Tekef al Sanhedrin. So they have to go down and descend from their Keach Sanhedrin, Kedei to Zayin, Mezaki Arabim, in order to merit for the Rabbim. There is the Bir Binyanino. Agam is durch them, as Mordichai is given. Amishlan Melech is given a Yedid in sein Chshivas al Tzchavar Sanhedrin from Basar Dal. So Basar Chabisha is hat bei ihm gefällt in ihnen Meile von Terasum Menasse. Is aber die Yedid Kedai afil Mitzad Nyan of Sanhedrin Guf v'bal das es Lib Tevis Harab Malderech is Berlil and Tanad Belio. Now, even though through Mordechai going and being in a Mishnah Melech, he has a Yerida, he's not anymore considered number 4, he's number 5. But nevertheless, and he was lacking the idea of Terasum Menasei. But through this Yerida, as a Chavar Sanhedrin, it was fine because it was all the Tevis Harabim. Test, I'm sorry. Dan Hagel von Quäktisch und Mervechomer ist gewesen, also er für Gazlen von seiner Zeit, was wollte gekannt aufgeben, der Flüm der Titel Atzmei, weil das ist schon Atzmei. Und so vernommen dann mit den Jone Askanes, was Zals Nefashes. The way the Friedrich Rebbe, he used to quote, steal his time, which he could have learned, and he took this time for Askanis and Hatzals Nefashes. Und hat euch gemeint, von der Achelik Chashuv, von seinen Talmidim, und Mekusharim, als sie sollen sich führen in dem Weg. And he demanded from some of his Chassidim that they should act this way. Und hat eingeführt, dass viele Talmid der Yeshiva sollen, in Hasadarim, weggeben a gewissen Teil von seinem Zman auf Hafatzas HaTorah wie Havis Chutza. He wanted that the Talmid Yeshiva, that Ben Hashtarim, should give up their time, Miftzayim, etc. Weggeben a gewisse Teil von seinem Zman auf Hafatzas HaTorah wie Havis Chutza. Und die Saskus ist zeitenweise, in einem Öffnen, als Achere Godel von dem Zman Hafatzas geht weg, nicht Öffnen zu lernen mit dem Zweiten, nur not even that you should want to. He didn't only demand that you should learn with somebody else, but it was like for Tzirchit Tzibur. Shtadus reinzukriegen, Talmidim, Sader sein on earth, if learning to schaffen, die Nötigkeit, Skumim zu decken, die Eitzoras, Choli, Skumim. So he wanted that, this is release time, etc. That says, as afilu azelchem kusharim. As their matzav dag is nur kapsak halacha von Bavli in dem Eifen mit Terasum Shtameres, haben sie abgegeben von their Zman afil in der Eifen, was durch dem wird fällen, and sie limit hat Torah by Vidasam Hashem to Likkutei Sichos. So what do you see from here? That even, like the Bavli says, the only the level of Terasum Shtameres, if you ever wanted that they should give up their time for the Likkutei Sichos. Weil die Hanoga now von dem Rogachover is nur for Yechidis Kula, and had the der was sein Beginn als Terasum Menasse. Und so ihn ist halt der, wie das ist given by Mitzvah Sanhedrin, I suffer by this Atera Be'efin Timidi. So a person who could be Terasum Menasse, that's like the Rogachover, very, very Yechidis Kula. Of the Seder Aveda Farubi Deruba, Afilu from Netera is Psak Hadin, as when I says, Nitom mentioned was Terasum Menasse. Und Badach, als man ist mit Vater von lernen zu lieben, anderen Jahren, darf man erwartet, das dann zu was soll es noch falsch ist für Tevis Rabim. So like the Alter Rebbe says, nowadays there's nobody really at the level of Terasum Menasse. So if when we're vatal Torah for other things, how much more so for Atzos Nefashis. Well, her when it gets to Kvei Kedushas Mori Chomer Admar Alein, it's me idea if an Avedasin. If the Rebbe says you don't know the Aveda, Chal is doch Yedu the Torah from Baal Shem Tov from Pasuk Kumi Oidi. Give Eirich v'chved Hashem alayich zarach Atem see so was ihr legt da weg eier Teda war wieder beschwil Tevas Harabim was wird sein mit Eich is das Kumi was ist mit Eich ist das Kumi Eidi Beira Prati la Kolel. Das heißt as ne see so man abrachim yecheles. So by ze nit fellen in ze Teda war wieder war bo Eidich Chvedavai alayich zarach. Was das is shlei be'erech von brachen in tennis beterassen. Now it says about the Friedrich Rebbe says, first of all, the Rebbe says we find by the Friedrich Rebbe, so you don't know the Lashon is mi der even amidasei, and it's known what the Baal Shem Tov said. It says kumi oiri ki ba'erech chved Hashem alayich zarach. So the Friedrich Rebbe, the Baal Shem Tov was talking to the Nisi Yisrael, the leaders of the Jews, which give their time for Tevis Harabim. And so what's going to be with their Teda? So the Friedrich Rebbe said, the Baal Shem Tov said, Kumi Eidi Be'eid Aprati Aklali. What does that mean? That the Nesi Yisrael going to have a special bracha that not only is not going to lack in their Teda, on the contrary, Kiva Eidach Fedavai Alayich, they're going to have even a higher level than bracha Nitenas B'Tirasan. The Rebbe says, in Yud, das is the Yida, for the Hanagas Mordichai for uns benegele Pel. Mordichai is a lesson to us. When we Teda, you do from Baal Shem Tov, from Maimar Mishnah Akiris and Megillah Mafer Le'yotza, like the Baal Shem Tov touched up, somebody reads the Megillah Mafer Le'yotza, der was lehnt die Megillah annemedik, as das is wird erzählt, Megillah Nazach, was hat getroffen in einem Over the Mafreya, hat nicht kein Sheiches zum Heuve is Le'yotza. So if somebody thinks that the story of the Megillah happened a while ago, but it's not now, is Le'yotza. As far as von uns anagam ein, Kapan Hashem is binei von Anagas Mordichai, zu werden am Mishnah Melech, zu sein Adir Tir L'Amri, Deir Shal L'Chazari, Afilu Ben Tzulib Dem, is a Ratsu Blade Tzulib of a person, has to give himself up, like Mordichai, even if it's, he doesn't get validation and recognition from everybody. Agam as the Anaga is by Kama verbunden mit der Yerida, but darf Tzulib Dem Vater sein if they're eigene Shlemus, it's gedei die Yerida Tzulib Dem Teyelas for Tevis Adam, to Yerida, but it's a Yerida for the Tevis Rabban. As I gefindt man es euch bei jeder Bechayev. Als Yochid Ufrat, seine Shama is Yedim Yerida, aber the Bina Miksa, it's a very Meishel, Veshelet, if in Guf and Nefesh Adikis, Vechelef Kebe'elam, they cover sein, and if in Zimach Nadir Leisbarach, every Neshama has to go down from a high place to a low place in order to make it to the Betachterim. So Yerida for them. Und danach, hat der Chasne, kommt bei Sefer Al-Ana, wo Lashna Megil, die ist kol Ish Seder Bewesik, mein Mechazal, is Ish Kshera, is in Beila, und euch die Schrada ist verbunden mit der Yerida, kann man Mechazal, noch ist Dagen, noch ist im Itza, weil ein Mensch muss Mevata sein, if their eigenen Yanum Slip Tevis space, and then the person has to get married, and getting married in a way is you're going down a level. Und das ist echt die Asbara, if them, was mir gefindt, an Iloi, in Eisken bezeichnet sie, Brafilo, if die was Terrasse Menasse, darf mafsig sein, the Kriyishma, aber die was sein, Eisken bezeichnet sie, sein nicht mafsig, Brafilo Kriyishma. It says, the halacha is that somebody who's Eisken bezeichnet Tzibur, he has even a higher level than somebody who's Terrasse Menasse, he doesn't even have to start for Kriyishma. But Magamas, durch his Eisken bezeichnet Tzibur, Mamuna felt, dann mit der Tere bestemmes Atzmi, bis das Chazal sagen, hat alle am bezeichnet Tzibur, behin Kolam Alim, deswegen ist Dafkin dem, durch dem Ila in the flow von Tevis Rabban. So, when you're Saskas bezeichnet Tzibur, Mamuna, it's even higher. Yes, you're lacking in certain things, but it's higher because of Tevis Rabban. And if them, and Eib is vatet sich der Noga von Mordichai benegeh zu der Hatzal von jüdischer Gufim, Rachas kann bekommen, es darf sein, as they sein, wird es kommen zu der Hatzal von jüdischer Neshamis. So if Mordechai did this, we have to do this also, as man darf ablegen die eigene Schlemmis zu der Hatzal Nefashis, zu sein, ad der Rishon l'Cholzari, bis wird während der Yisrael ist in Tshuva, miyad in Igol, Mekarav Mamish. Okay, have a good Chodesh.